eternally stuck at 4. Welcome to the Week 5 recap. In case you didn't notice, Caden and I have been away for a little bit. It's just a lot getting the timing of everything correct for getting a consistent go on the podcast. If you don't follow our Instagram, you should, KA_football. Check it out. We mentioned that from here on out, we're probably only going to be doing one episode a week for the time being. We're looking to hopefully get back to that at some point, back to 2 episodes a week at some point. But for now, we're going to do 1 episode a week. We're going to do the recap episodes, and then we're hopefully going to post our weekly picks on the Instagram. So make sure to go check that out. And then hopefully in coming episodes and on the Instagram, we'll keep you guys updated on the current standings of our picks as well. So without further ado, it was a wild week 5, and we can't wait to break it down for you guys. Welcome to KNA Football. All right, Caden. I don't want to spoil too much, so don't delve too far into it. But you went to an NFL game this weekend.
I did. I did go to an NFL game. We won't. I mean, people could probably figure out which game I was most likely be at.
The Browns game, right?
I just got booted. Hold on. I'm going to do this on the fly and get back on the phone with Austin. But yeah, I was at an NFL game this weekend. I'm assuming if anyone's listening to this, they could probably figure out which game I was at. Hold on. This is a struggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. So yeah, if you're listening to this, you could probably figure out which game I was at. It doesn't take a genius to know. But so we'll talk about that when we get there. But the game itself, it's kind of a blowout. But being at the game, it was a fun experience. But yeah, I was at a game.
Yeah. All right. So let's harken ourselves all the way back to the far, far, long ago land of Thursday. Thursday Night Football. We have the winless Chicago Bears going to the United States Capitol to play the Washington football team. And I think that everyone rightfully expected that this game was not going to be in the Bears' favor. They've had their struggles. Justin Fields has his struggles. Their play calling has had its struggles. The Bears' defense has not been great, and the football team has actually been showing up pretty solidly. So, Caden, why don't you go ahead and talk about this game really quick?
Yeah. So right off the bat, the Bears get the ball, and it took them maybe 5 or 6 plays to go down the field. And DJ Moore in the first drive alone had about 68 yards and a touchdown right off the bat. Next drive, DJ Moore again, big play. The Bears dominated this game, 40-20. DJ Moore had the greatest game of his career. He had 8 receptions for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, which is absolutely nuts. Great game. Super sad Panthers traded him away. He just looked like unguardable out there. Justin Fields had his best career game, I think. He had 282 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. I mean, the Bears all around looked very good. And Washington's not a terrible team. I mean, they're not good, but they were in a very close game last week against Philly. I mean, they've been a decent team, and the Bears just completely stomped on them. So I don't know if it's something of the Bears just needed 4 weeks to wake up, and here they are. This is the Bears that everyone thought they were going to be, but the Bears looked really good. And me and you thought that they were going to be good this year, and this is what we kind of envisioned them to look like all year round. And they really showed up this week, though.
Yeah. So now we get the super, super fun opportunity to watch the next couple of weeks and see whether the first 4 weeks were the outlier or whether week 5 was the outlier. Are the Bears still bad, but they just had, one really great game? Or are they actually good? They just were really unlucky for 4 weeks in a row. Get to find out. Should be fun.
It's going to be super easy to pick as well. Which by the way, we are, like Austin said in the beginning, we are keeping track of the pick'em still. And I think I'm beating you by 3 or 4. So it's not
Yeah,
near as bad as last
yeah.
year.
It's a
But we
lot
also,
closer this year than it was.
yeah, we also still have to figure out a punishment. So
That's true.
we're very
But
busy
well,
if you can't tell.
we still have a lot of season left to go, so we still
Yeah,
have a lot of time to procrastinate on that.
that's true.
And the further behind you fall, you can lighten the punishment as much as you want.
Right.
All right. Then heading into Sunday, the very early, what was it, 9:30 a.m. game. We had the Buffalo Bills playing the London Jaguars. I say that because did Jacksonville just stay in
Yeah,
London
they,
after
they were
last
there
week?
all week.
I feel like that makes
It
sense.
wouldn't make sense from the
Yeah.
jet
So they
lag and going all
played.
the way back home.
Yeah. They played the Falcons last week in London. And then they played the Bills again in London this week. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. The Jaguars probably requested that because they seem to never ever lose when they're in London. And keeping with that streak, they went ahead and beat the Bills 25-20, which I don't really think anyone was expecting, especially after Buffalo dropped what was it, like 40 points, 50 points on the Dolphins last week. And then the Jaguars have been struggling. They didn't really put up that great of a showing against anyone. And then for the Bills to go into London and lose by 5 points, no one was really expecting that. But great showing from the London Jaguars. I am eagerly awaiting their transition to just stay in London in the next 3 to 4 years.
The London Jaguars. Yeah, I mean, pretty much all there is to say. The Jags. I mean, it makes a little sense when you think about it. A team that has 2 weeks now in London and doesn't have to have that whole jet lag. Like they've already been there or used to it. The Bills, they probably flew down Thursday or Friday, so they were still getting accustomed and used to because it's a whole nother time zone there. So it makes more sense when you really factor that in. I think if they both play here, I think Buffalo has the advantage. So, but yeah,
I agree
Jacksonville
with that.
won.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, and then we approach your game.
My game.
So, yeah.
Oh, I don't know what order we're going in here. Sure, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, go
The
ahead and talk about
Panthers
that one.
Lions game?
Yep.
All right. So yeah, I went to this game. It's only 3 hours away from where we live. So I'm like, you know what? I don't get to go to many Panthers games. So might as well, Tickets, look before the season starts, you're like, okay, Panthers Lions. That's gonna be a pretty cheap ticket because both teams are not very good ever. Well, it turns out, the Lions are incredible this year. So Lions tickets are just like jacked up through the roof. And the Panthers are kind of the complete opposite. So thankfully, that lowered the ticket prices a little bit because if they had been like any other team, those tickets would have been ridiculous. I mean, they were still a little much, but so yeah, me and my dad went to this game. Panthers got the ball first. They go down. They get about to the 50, and then they punt. Lions go 3 plays all the way down the field, score a touchdown. And I was like, oh boy. And then we go, Aiden Hutchinson gets an interception on a screen pass. Yeah, you heard that right. And Aiden Hutchinson plays on the defensive line. Then they score about 2 or 3 plays later, and it was 14-0 in like 5 minutes. And I was like, holy crap, the Lions are going to put up 70. Fortunately, they didn't. It was 42-24, which is pretty big blowout. But it was a lot of fun to be there. The Lions Stadium, super duper nice, like incredible stadium, and that place was so packed and so loud. I've never heard a louder stadium like that. That's definitely the loudest building or venue that I've ever been in. It was nuts, but it was a really cool atmosphere. Like it kind of sucked because it was all Lions fans and I was kind of getting heckled, but it's very cool. But the Lions are very dangerous. That's just like they're not to be slept on. They're a good team.
That's for sure. All right. I'm sorry. I don't know why I jumped to the Carolina Detroit game. Let's get back on schedule.
I was a little confused.
Back on schedule. Do you have Tennessee, Indiana as next? Is that the right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're good then. Okay. Tennessee at Indianapolis. Gonna be honest.
Oh, ready for a rant. was that the Panthers game. So
I was gonna say, I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch many of the 1 o'clock games either. The Browns didn't play this week. They had a bye week, and so instead of dedicating my time to football, I dedicated my time to going and playing indoor soccer. Very fun, I have to say. But what I do know about this game is that, first off, most important part, Indianapolis won 23-16. That's obviously the most important part to any football game, is who won. But very worth noting that after the game, who could have guessed? Why am I blanking on his name, Katie?
Say it. It's Anthony
Why am I blanking on his
Richardson.
name? Anthony Richardson. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I just blanked on his name so hard. Anthony Richardson was hurt. Could you have
Shocker.
guessed that? Could you have
You ready
guessed?
for me? You ready for another rant? I'll give one because we gave it about, I think, probably last time we recorded, honestly.
Yep, let's hear it. Let's hear it. I'm here for it. I think the viewers have forgotten.
Oh yeah, it's been a while. You know, he's a good quarterback when he plays. He's a good runner when he plays. But she doesn't play. He'll play 2 games, and then he'll die. Like he is literally. This is week 5, and he's been hurt 3 separate times now. They're saying he's going to be hurt for at least a month. Dude is already getting injury prone because he only can run and he only just tries to run through people. That's going to result in so many injuries, as we can already tell. He's going to be out of the league in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've said it 1,000 times, but like Tom Brady played forever. Like, and everyone was like, "Okay, Tom, it's your time to go." But he probably could have played for longer. Why? Because he didn't move. He didn't ever get hit. When he felt pressure, he just went to the ground. He didn't get hit, so he could play for absolutely ever. That's why kickers can play forever. Running backs have a shorter NFL life. Linemen have a shorter NFL life. They get hit all the time. It's just how it is. So when you take a quarterback, like you look at running quarterbacks, it's like, okay, who's some of the most notable running quarterbacks? The ones that have success are the ones that last the longest. But in the last couple of years, you think of like RG3, like he ran all over the place, was out of the league in not that much time at all, and that's what's going to happen to Anthony Richardson. Very unfortunate because he actually is like he's a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Not in terms of throwing, but like in terms of adapting to the NFL and being able to run well there. But like you said, like he's legitimately has been evaluated for an injury every single week. He will not last long.
Yeah, but you know what? Gardner Minshew came in and played this game for them, and they won again. The Colts, are they undefeated with Gardner Minshew as their quarterback? Let me look. Let me pull up their thing real quick. Because they won this game. They beat the Ravens a few weeks ago. They lost last week, but that was an Anthony Richardson game. They might be undefeated with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Me and you both believe he's a very serviceable quarterback.
For sure. While you're looking that up, also worth noting, this was Jonathan Taylor's first game back this year. That he reworked. Did he rework, or I think he just worked out a new deal?
No, he got a new deal. Yeah.
Yeah, worked out a new deal with the Colts. It's like, I want to say 4 years, $43 million. It's somewhere in that realm. Pretty good deal, if I do say so myself. I'm not entirely certain that's the deal that he wanted initially, but I feel like he kind of realized that if he didn't strike a deal soon, like his life expectancy in the NFL was going to be like Le'Veon Bell, where he has like a couple really good seasons. Everyone's like, he's really great. He holds out too long, not valuable anymore, and then no one picks him up, and he's done in the NFL. So, in my opinion, good call by him to just go ahead and sign, work out a new deal, play for whatever. It's a lot better than just destroying your NFL career because you're a little bit too greedy.
Mm-hmm. And we were right. Gardner Minshew is 3-0 this year.
Yeah,
in games that he's played majority of. Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback, dude.
I don't know why they don't just roll with him, but I don't get to make the rules. All right. Time for...
Oh, crap. I got rid of my tab.
Time for one of my favorite games of the week, everybody.
No, it wasn't a good game.
Everyone is so excited about this game. Me, personally, super excited. Okay? The New England Patriots played the New Orleans Saints. And does anyone know what happened? The New Orleans Saints beat the Patriots 34 nothing. 34 nothing. I cannot tell you how happy I was about that. Not that I'm like happy to see the Patriots lose, like I don't really care anymore, but it just brings me joy when, the juggernauts of the last 2 decades go ahead and plummet like they did. Like, really not that disappointed. Mac Jones was benched in this game again.
Again, yeah.
He threw a pick six. He threw a plethora of interceptions. The Patriots have now been outscored 73-3 in the last 2 games.
So bad.
Look, the uncomfortable thing that everyone is saying on the internet, so it's really not that uncomfortable, is that Bill Belichick's got to go. Like, no one wants to say it because it's Bill Belichick, but it's become painfully obvious that the Patriots' success over the last 2 decades had more to do with Brady than it did Belichick. Not that Belichick isn't a great coach, but it's just like, Brady left, won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay with really not that great a coaching staff down there. Has good players, not a great coaching staff. Came back, went the playoffs again with Todd Bowles, which, I feel like they should have just been given the Super Bowl if you have Todd Bowles as your quarterback or as your coach. And meanwhile, Bill Belichick just has not performed very well whatsoever, and Mac Jones is clearly not the answer, guys. You can't get benched for Bailey Zappi 2 weeks in a row after getting benched for Bailey Zappi last year. It doesn't work that way.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I would have loved this if it was probably any other team except for the Saints. That kind of sucked. And when you throw on top of it, you're in a very close fantasy football game and you're playing against Saints defense, who then pitch a shutout and get a defensive touchdown. Yeah, it wasn't a great day.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
And when you're finding out all of this while you're at the Panthers game, watching them get absolutely steamrolled, it was a great time. It was a great
That
time.
sounds like a lot of fun. You know what is a great time? It's a great time when your division opponents lose. I know you can't relate to that because the Saints steamrolled them. But when you have two division opponents playing each other, it's kind of like you wish they could both lose. So basically, you're rooting for a tie. But you have to pick the lesser of the two evils. And when the Ratbirds play the Steelers and the Ratbirds have a significantly better record, you're like, would not mind very much if the Steelers went ahead and won. And despite Matt Canada's best efforts, the
Dude.
Pittsburgh Steelers did in fact win this game 17-10. The Baltimore offense could not catch a ball to save their life. They dropped 8 passes, which would have resulted in 150 plus yards and 3 touchdowns had they just caught the ball.
Yeah,
But
was
they just
bad.
applied butter in between their hands before the game. And then on like the final play, Kenny Pickett, lays it in the breadbasket, George Pickens, and he takes it to the house to win the game 17-10. And if you guys are following any NFL Instagram pages, you will have seen that Matt Canada looks like actually disappointed that they scored. Like he was the only one in like the entire Steelers universe that did not celebrate. He was just sitting there like stone faced. He's like, I'm mad that Kenny Pickett audibled out of my negative 1 yard rush.
2-yard pass. Yeah.
Like, it was awesome.
No, Matt Canada is so bad. Like the fact that he has a job is terrible. And for anyone that's not any like NFC North team that's not a Ravens fan has got to be thrilled because one, the Ravens lost and that's exciting. But since they won, there's no reason to go fire Matt Canada. Like they can't really do that.
Oh,
So that's
exactly.
at
It
least
is
one
best
more
case
week.
scenario.
That's at least one more week of the Steelers having Matt Canada as their offensive coordinator. He
Yeah,
is
exactly.
so bad, dude. Like, I mean, he's probably better than we could do. No, that's actually not true.
No, I
We
actually
could
don't believe that at
totally go
all.
do better than him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called
I probably couldn't exactly learn the exact language like right now. But if they were to hire me right now, I could probably be like, okay, guys, let's just
throw
call
it
whatever
deep.
runs the ball forward instead of backwards. Oh, and also the forward pass that was invented like 100 years ago. Let's go ahead and utilize that instead of backwards.
And let's take Najee Harris out of the game because he's about as slow as, I don't know, me. And I don't play in the NFL. So
So true. All right, go ahead and move over to Houston playing Atlanta. I'm sorry, Caden. another in-division opponent went ahead and won again. The Atlanta Falcons won 21-19.
It's okay. Hey, you don't gotta apologize. We have no hope. Okay, we're the only 0-5 team in the NFL. We don't have hope. At this
That's
point,
true.
the rest of the division can win every game for the rest of the year. It's not going to make a difference. We are not going to go anywhere this year. Next year is our year. Trust.
Oh, next year, you dem boys. Next year's your year. Uh-huh.
next year we done, boys. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. So Texans Falcons.
Texans Falcons. Don't know if you guys saw. Very exciting news in my world and hopefully Caden's world. I don't know how much of a believer he is, but super, super exciting. CJ Stroud broke the all-time record for passing attempts without an interception to start a career. So he is the current leader for passing attempts with no interceptions through the first, X number of games in their career. I think it's like 180 something now that he has. Super exciting. Obviously, he's playing out of his mind. He's playing fantastic with the team that he has around him. Super exciting for us, or at least me. I'm an Ohio State fan, so it's really exciting to see Ohio State quarterbacks performing well. I think Justin Fields has the potential. He's just got to pull it together, and CJ Stroud just hopped right in and said, yeah, I'll take this team despite its best efforts to try to win. So, 19-21, not the worst in the world for the Texans, especially for CJ Stroud breaking that record. Super excited about that. I'm a little worried that we keep bringing it up because I feel like we're just going to jinx him. But no matter, he has the record now. Can't take that away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I probably know the least amount of about this game as about any of the other games this week. I didn't see much about it at all. I know the Falcons kicked a game-winning field goal as time expired, and 21-19, not a very high-scoring game, but I do know, like you said, all the CJ Stroud broke all these records. So, yeah. Dang it, dude. Sorry, I'm looking at right now at the score for the Packers and Raiders game. So I was telling you before that I'm in a very intense fantasy football game, and I got a lot of Packers players going tonight, and it's 0-0 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter. So not very action-filled for my fantasy team. Dang it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So then hop over to one of the games that everyone was kind of expecting, unfortunately. New York Giants playing the Miami Dolphins. Really not much to say here, guys. Miami won 31-16.
The Giants are the worst team in the league.
Giants are really bad, but I'm going to tell you something. I can't decide. Like last year, I was like, I'm not a believer in Tua Tagovailoa. I wasn't. Then he performed really, really well. He got his concussions. He couldn't play. It's like, okay, I'm kind of a believer in Tua Tagovailoa. And then you're like, okay, well, everyone has to be a believer in Tua Tagovailoa now because, they're winning all these games. They're winning them by 70 points. Like, it's ridiculous what they're doing out there. But then you actually watch the games and you're like, is Tua good? Or does he just have the fastest humans who have ever existed on the football field at the same time? And so it's legitimately impossible to mess that up. Like, could I go out there, hand it off to the fastest humans on earth, and say, we win? Could I stand back in the pocket, throw the ball into open space despite the fact where my receivers are, and because they're the fastest, they're just going to get to the space before the ball hits the ground? Maybe. I don't know. Nobody really knows. We don't know whether Tua is good or not solely because he has like the 4 fastest people who have ever lived on the football field at the same time.
Yeah. And his running game is crazy now. Devon, the rookie, Devon Achane, however you say his last name, is nuts. He leads the league in rushing yards, and he didn't play until week 3. He's crazy. But he did get hurt in this game, but hopefully he'll be back. He's a stud. He's a great player. But yeah, the Dolphins are they're unfair. They have the fastest player in the NFL. They probably have the second fastest, probably the third and the fourth. And there's some dude on the practice squad apparently who's like the second fastest on the team.
Yeah,
so,
there's some dude on the practice squad who Tyreek was like, I probably wouldn't challenge him to a race. And you're like, whoa, Tyreek Hill wouldn't challenge this guy to a race? That's insane. He's on the practice squad. Yeah, you can almost guarantee that Mike McDaniel is pulling him up for the next game.
Oh, you know who they play next game? The Panthers. Oh boy.
Oh boy, we're looking for a 100-point game. All right. This was a little bit of an unfortunate game. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Cincinnati Bengals at Arizona Cardinals. Bengals ended up winning this 34-20. It was actually really close for most of the game. Very unfortunate that the Bengals won. I was really pulling for them to lose. That would have been amazing. Josh Dobbs played really great again. I don't know where that came from. I really don't, guys. But he played really well. Don't know why. And unfortunately, the Bengals decided that this was the game that they were going to win. And so after Jamar Chase told the world that he is always open, Joe Burrow was like, let's test that theory. And it worked. Jamar Chase went for 15 receptions, every single yard possible, and every touchdown. So, he scored 50-some fantasy points. So good job to anyone who had him and was still sticking it through to start him. Good job to anyone who had Joe Burrow and was sticking it through to still start him. We all really, deep down in our hearts, we all knew that they were probably going to put it together at some point. But you have to remember, they are playing the Cardinals. Have the Cardinals been playing well? Yes, of course.
We got to give the Cardinals their props,
yes,
or else we're going to get yelled at.
You have to give them their props. I will say, you must give them their props. They're doing far better than anyone could have ever anticipated.
Won a game.
They won a game, but they beat the Cowboys in that game, and the Cowboys are actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, guys. And they're keeping the rest of these games actually really close.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, are they on paper the worst team in the NFL? Yes. Are they keeping it really, really close and playing really, really well? Yes. Also, of course. But at the beginning of the season, if you would have said, Bengals are playing Cardinals week 5, predict the score right now, we would have said 1,000-0 because it's the Bengals and the Cardinals. So I feel like it's a little bit of an overreaction for everyone to be like, oh my gosh, the Bengals have finally pulled it together. Jamar Chase went for 15 catches, every touchdown, and 50 fantasy points. And Joe Burrow, he finally looks good. Again, guys, they are playing the Cardinals. We need to remember this. Not discounting what the Cardinals are doing, but if at the beginning of the year you would have told me that the final score was going to be 34-20, I would have said that's a little bit of a letdown. Did the Bengals pull their starters on the third snap of the game? So I'm going to say
the third snap. No, the Cardinals are decent, dude. They're not like the Seahawks of last year, but they're not the worst team in the league. They're not the bottom 2 teams in the league.
No, they're not, and totally cool with that. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with seeing them succeed. I have nothing against the Cardinals. Totally okay with seeing Josh Dobbs go in there and absolutely destroy it out there.
Yeah, they got a goofy head coach though. But
yeah, goofy head coach. We don't need to talk about him though. All right. We have the Philadelphia Tush Pushers and the Los Angeles Rams. The Eagles continue to show why the tush push is an unstoppable thing. I saw something on Instagram, and it was, when you see this formation, you know that Jalen Hurts is about to get 6.1 fantasy points. It's so true. You just line up in that formation is a guaranteed yard. Honestly, I think they should run that play every single play.
There's times 1 yard. They get 1 yard though.
There's times where they get 3.
Okay, well that's sometimes. That's best case scenario 3. If you can do that,
every play, kind of unstoppable. Totally down for that. Stack the box. No, I'm kidding, of course. But, Philadelphia won. I honestly don't know too much about this game, so I can't tell you guys too much. But here's what I do know. Other teams in the league are trying the tush push now. They're like, that's unfair. You guys have to ban that. The NFL was like, we're not going to ban it quite yet. Well, other teams are trying it now. They're like, okay, fine. You won't ban it. We're going to do it. Turns out every single team that tries it, someone gets injured. I think it's kind of awesome. I'm not going to lie. They lose yards, they don't pick up the first down, and then someone gets injured. That's how it works. Every other team that tries this. The Eagles are the only people who have mastered it, and I am here for all of it.
Yeah, the Eagles, I don't know how they do it, honestly. It's either Jason Kelce is a stud at what he does, or Jalen Hurts, or maybe a little bit of both. I don't really know, but it works for them. But yeah, this game was kind of, as expected. Cooper Kupp was back, and he played good. Cooper Cooper Cup, Cooper Cup, and Puka Nakua, both on the field at the same time, is pretty scary. The only reason I feel like that they probably lost is because they're playing the Eagles. If they played another team, I feel like that combo is going to be way too much for a lot of teams.
For sure.
My AirPods
All right.
keep dying, and it's really frustrating me. So I keep switching them. So otherwise, got to put in goofy earbuds.
All right. Here we had the Hackett Bowl. We had the New York Jets playing the Denver Broncos. If you guys remember, before the season started, head coach of the Broncos, Sean Payton, was like, this team is an absolute disaster. The penalties that this team occurred last year is unacceptable. It is completely on the head coach. It was the worst coaching tenure in the history of the NFL. And Aaron Rodgers was like, hey, that's my new offensive coordinator. Don't talk about him that way. And everyone was like, oh, we can't wait for them to play each other week 5. And then Aaron Rodgers got hurt, and everyone kind of forgot about it. And then week 5 rolled around, and everyone was like, eek. Jets are not going to be able to back up their offensive coordinator on this one. Like, they're playing with Zach Wilson as their guy. Like, they are not going to be winning. Psych. Turns out that really think that it's the Broncos, guys. The Broncos are the problem. I don't think it's the coach. I think that if Nathaniel Hackett went and coached any other team, I'm not a fan of Nathaniel Hackett. I'm not gonna lie, not a fan.
Yeah.
But what you have to know is that Sean Payton now coaches the most penalized team in the NFL. So it's like, okay, it's got to be your guys. Like, it cannot be the coach at this point, unless you also are really, really bad, which nobody really believes. It has to just be the team. So Jets went ahead and won this one, 31-21. Jets were super excited because they got to defend their offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh had one game ball to give away at the end, and in the locker room, he gave it to Nathaniel Hackett. As obviously a dig at Sean Payton, like, well, who's the worst coach now? Clearly you, because you lost.
Yeah. Brees Hall, he went crazy in this game. Zach Wilson, hey, the last 2 weeks, the Jets have looked good. They should have beat Kansas City last Sunday night.
They should have.
Kind of got hosed on some bad calls from the refs. The Jets, maybe they could squeak into the playoffs. Not really sure, but if that happens, Aaron Rodgers is trying some new special way of recovering from an Achilles injury. So maybe some craziness happens and he comes back. It'd be pretty nuts.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty hard for the Jets to sneak in, just because like it'll either be the Bills or Dolphins that take the 1 seed, obviously, and then the other one's going to have a really good record, and so they're just going to have a good record going into it. So the Jets are going to have to put up a really, really solid performance if they want to sneak into the playoffs. It's like the 7 seed.
Yeah.
But I agree. Zach Wilson has been playing really, really well, a lot better than most people think. He's still not great. Like, obviously, it's Zach Wilson, guys. Like,
yeah,
I think we can all acknowledge that, like, Zach Wilson. We haven't quite figured out what it is yet because he hasn't been in the league long enough. But Zach Wilson kind of has the Baker Mayfield arc of some sort, where it's like, play really well, play like trash, sort of thing. But for this little stretch here, he hasn't been playing really well. And like we've said before, not a hater of Zach Wilson. Okay, we're pulling for the guy. I want him to perform well.
I think everybody's rooting for him.
Yeah. All right. Last up on these Sunday afternoon games, we have Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes' first time in Minnesota in his career. So they're playing the Minnesota Vikings. Early on in this game, Travis Kelce gave the world a little bit of a scare because
he gave Swifties a little bit of a scare.
Oh, come on. We all enjoy, maybe not you, but everyone knows that Travis Kelce is the best tight end. Travis Kelce is one of the best players and one of the
I totally agree. No, I'm not dissing, but I'm just saying the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing is completely blown out of proportion and super, super annoying. And I know that's not just me. I know people agree with me on that one.
Yeah, that's not just you. I think legitimately everyone, other than Swifties, are just annoyed at this point. Like, I think at the beginning we were all kind of pulling, like, oh yeah, okay, Travis, like, go for it. Like, I don't know, I guess, go for it, man. So we were all like kind of almost hoping that he was actually dating Taylor Swift, and now we're like, please just break up, take the hit. Okay, we get
Let
it.
her make a song about you.
We get it. There's gonna be a song. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be pretty. Okay,
Don't worry, the
but
song's gonna be terrible anyway. She's not a good singer.
it's gonna suck. So we can all just ignore it. The Super Bowl ring will make it all worth it in the end. So please just spare us all. Okay, we don't want to see Taylor Swift on our screens anymore. We would really, really just like to see football. Okay, we're not here to see Donna Kelsey with Taylor Swift. Not here for that. But he gave the world, Swifties, however you want to say it, Chiefs fans, everyone but Vikings fans got a little bit of a scare. Travis Kelsey went ahead and fell down in like the middle of like a pretty routine play, and he left the game for a little bit with an ankle injury. But then, you know, as he does, he had to come back in the game and go ahead and help the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Minnesota Vikings 27-20. Really, really unfortunate. Vikings fall to 1-4. Not great. And Justin Jefferson left this game with an injury, and they said that they will not be risking Justin Jefferson re-injuring that, so he will not be back until he is fully 100%. There will be no early comeback for Justin Jefferson. Who knows how long he'll be out? It doesn't sound like it'll be that long, but he said the Vikings staff all said he won't be back till he is a guaranteed 100%.
Yeah, and the Vikings, dude, they're not that good. They've struggled, and they're what 1-5.
1-4 now. Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So, I mean, they got the Lions in their division. I mean, the Packers are okay. They don't got that much time. They gotta start figuring it out.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson,
Like I said, like
he's gonna own a lot of money.
They could still figure out, how to pull this together. We're only a quarter of the way through the season, so their division really isn't that great to where it's like, oh, now we have to catch up with the Bills, the Dolphins, something like that. It's like, okay, you have to catch up with the Packers who have won 2 games. You have to catch up with the Lions who have won 3. No, 4. The Lions have won 4. So, yeah, the Lions are kind of a problem, but, I mean, they're not like some juggernaut. It's like it's impossible to catch up. Like, you have time to try to figure this thing out. So, you gotta do that quick. You're running out of time.
Yeah. All right. And then the game of the week, what everyone thought was going to be the game of the week. The Cowboys and the Niners. The rematch of the last 2 divisional round playoff games. Dallas losing both of them in pretty hilarious fashion. And this one, though, was supposed to be different. This was supposed to be a good, close, intense game. And it was so bad. The 49ers killed the Cowboys 42-10, but the game was even more blowout than the score says. George Kittle had 3 touchdowns. The Niners Dak had 3 interceptions. Shocker. It was ugly, and I believe that it's fair to say the Niners are far and away the best team in the NFL, and I would not be surprised if they actually went 17-0 and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, out of the undefeated teams, there are only 2 undefeated teams left, one of them being San Francisco, the other one being the Eagles. The Eagles have shown signs of weakness this year. There have been games that have been close. There have been games that have gone to overtime. It's like, it's been close. The Eagles are good, don't get me wrong, but it's been close. No game the 49ers have played has been close. They have been pretty handily winning every one of their games. Their defense is amazing. Their offense is unstoppable. I don't know where they found this Brock Purdy guy, but keep him around for sure. Christian,
No.
Yes.
Hold the phone.
No, you did not tell me to hold the phone.
I had this exact. No, hold up.
No.
Let me
He
talk.
is undefeated in games where he doesn't tear his elbow.
Let me have a little moment, okay? I had this conversation last night. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, who is an elite receiver, George Kittle, one of the best offensive lines, the best defense, the best running back, the best coach. Dude, I truly believe that they could put any quarterback there and they could have the exact same success. I believe that somebody like a very bad backup, like give me a bad backup right now.
A bad backup?
Yeah, just name a quarterback, a backup quarterback.
Andy Dalton.
Hey, he's a very good backup. He's like one of the best.
Okay, Brian Hoyer.
You could put Brian Hoyer right now on this 49ers team, and they are undefeated right now. Yes, I fully stand. Look, last night I watched this game, and I made the comment. The Niners got to about the 30-yard line, and I said, okay, I'm going to do exactly what Brock Purdy does for the rest of this drive. First time, he handed the ball to McCaffrey. You do that. Anybody could do that. Next play, hands to McCaffrey. Next play, hands to McCaffrey. Okay. Next play, he throws a tiny little screen pass, like about 2 yards, okay, to a wide open Kyle Juszczyk for about 15. Okay, I could do that as well. Any quarterback could do that. And then he does a play, wide open dude in the end zone, like it was a 2-yard pass. But what is tough about that? He's put in the greatest situations, and I believe Brock Purdy's.
I agree that he's in a great situation.
He's put in great situations because the 49ers are so good. And I will stand by this. They're probably going to win the Super Bowl this year. And I totally am aware.
I would not be shocked.
No, I am totally assuming that they're going to win the Super Bowl. But it's not going to be because of Purdy. It's going to be because of their defense. It's going to be because of their coach. It's going to be because of their O-line. It's going to be because of their running back.
Theory in the NFC Championship game when they were down to their fourth-string quarterback. You could not just throw anyone in there.
They were playing the Eagles. The Eagles were insane last year.
We tested this theory. You can't just throw anyone back there. Is he in a great situation? Of course he's in a great situation. Can you put a lot of guys back there and they're going to find success there? Yes. But that doesn't mean that what Brock Purdy isn't doing isn't impressive. Okay? Is he just handing the ball to McCaffrey? Yeah, he's doing that. Is he throwing good screen passes? Is he, finding guys wide open in the end zone? Of course, because, again, they do have probably the best coach in the NFL right now, probably the best defense, and probably the best supporting cast around a quarterback. But at the same time, he is just he's in the position. He's not like throwing that to his head. He's like, I'm here. This is my role. This is what I'm doing. He's not throwing interceptions. He is delivering good passes. Like, you have to admit that a handful of times a game, there are a pass there. They're like, wow, that's a really good pass. Or that's a really great dart to a receiver. They're like, you have to admit that he has good passes. He's making great decisions with the ball.
Sure. But look at this. Jordan Mason, some random running back, 10 rushes, 69 yards, a touchdown. You're having nobody's performing. Like, he's got everything at his disposal. The greatest situation any quarterback has ever been in.
I agree. It's a great situation. And you know who it's a better situation for? It's a better situation for the 49ers as a whole, not just Brock Purdy. Because they picked up Brock Purdy last. So you know what his contract is? $0.00. They owe this man nothing. Okay? That's not entirely true. But in terms of like what they would have to pay like any other guy, they're not paying him a lot of money to do this. So they get to put that money elsewhere to get better players. This is why having the superstar quarterback that demands a big contract, like, if you don't win a Super Bowl in your first 5 years, the statistics have shown that you're probably not winning a Super Bowl the rest of your career. The exceptions to that rule being Tom Brady, because he routinely took under the market contracts and took pay cuts so he could have a better team around him. Great situation for the 49ers. Great situation for Brock Purdy. They're going 17-0, not going to win, and they're probably going to win the Super Bowl. Meanwhile, my favorite pastime in the NFL. How many interceptions can Dak Prescott throw? He said that he wouldn't throw more than 10 this season. Well, guess what? He's got 4 through 5 games, so we are well on our way. I am here for all of it. I hope that he throws 18 interceptions this year. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, last night those were pretty rough. There's no backing those up.
No. Also, where was Micah Parsons?
Dude, he was non-existent. The Cowboys defense has been like elite for so long this year. They're playing dominant teams like the Giants and the Jets and the Cardinals. Oh wait, they got torched by the Cardinals and the Patriots. Oh, those are 4 dominant teams. Mm-hmm. How come they didn't remain dominant when they played just another dominant team, huh? Yeah, it's because they played terrible teams. It's not them boys' year. It's not them boys' year.
Not them boys. This ain't their year. Pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the games for the week. Great conversation about Brock Purdy because he is a horse fan. We'll stand by that until proven otherwise. Do you have anything else to say, Kate?
No, I'm probably gonna end up seeing that whole Brock Purdy argument on a reel because Austin's cooking up some fire reels though.
I've been a little slacking off on some of those, but I probably will turn that one into a reel just because I'm right. Of course. Guaranteed. 100% correct. Always. Thank you guys for watching recap on 5. Hopefully we'll see you guys for week 6. Be sure to follow KA_football on Instagram so you can check out our picks that we make every week as well as get updates on our current pick'em situation. So we'll catch you guys next time. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of K&A Football. You can listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we're also active on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
If you made it this far in the video, thank you. You're a real one. We'll see you next time.